Morning, it's Barbara. The humidity is down to 74% out there, so it's probably better than yesterday, but yesterday was rainy and icky. Today it's sunny, so that's good. I'm going to be outside. Oh, I wanted to show you. I did spin some yesterday. We watched the replay of the Tour de France, and I started on my little nests that I made, but I got far enough. Feeling good. It's looking good. All right, outside. Okay, hi, good morning. It's Barbara. Thank you for joining me for coffee. I wasn't planning on vlogging today because I was supposed to be going to my parents', but we're going tomorrow, so I won't be vlogging tomorrow, and, plans change. It's what happens when you don't call ahead. Very far ahead, anyway. So Jason and Allison and the girls came yesterday. We had a wonderful visit. Dennis made some delicious shrimp dishes, and we did our deadwood wraps. The girls helped me make the deadwood wraps, and it was a wonderful, wonderful visit. And after they were gone, put on some Tour de France while Christy was working on her pattern for her Patreons, and I spun some of my beautiful coral reef colored fluff that is very hard to spin. So I'm glad I didn't try to start with that. The loop bump was way easier to spin. So yeah, and my Highland Handmade was easier to spin too. So this is a bit of a shame, but it's beautiful. It's just a little bit more of a struggle. So like I said, I'm very glad I didn't do this first, or the whole spinning thing might not have happened. Meanwhile, yeah. So Isabel made me a bracelet yesterday. She had rubber bands and she made me a bracelet. She said, pick your colors, Nana. So I picked 3 colors. And I could hear her talking to Christy while she was making, ooh, Nana picked good colors. She said, Nana, it looks like a sunset. These seem to be my colors these days. Orange and pink and yellow. I don't know what's with me. So Christy and I are going to go to Joann's today. She has a crochet project in mind, so that's fun. So we'll look for some yarn for her. And yeah. That's about it. I may be spinning some more. Ooh, I tried on the sweater, tried on Isabel, my sweater that I'm making her, the Montrealer. And it was the perfect size for her. She wanted it way oversized, and it's way oversized, but it doesn't look, like she's wearing someone else's clothes. She's just very, very large. Jason said, oh, let's hope it, it fits her for a while. I'm like, Jason, when I was making this, I was telling my people this is going to fit her when she graduates from college. Yeah, because it's big, he just didn't really, that's how nice it looked, even though it was way bigger than her. So I'm very psyched about that. Did I take any video or pictures? No, I did not, because, I don't have anyone to show that to. But I was very happy with that, and it's making me want to really get into that pattern and figure out what's going on with that hood and make that hood, because that's very key to this project as far as she's concerned. And then all I have is the hood and the bottom ribbing, which connects the bottom of the pocket, it's kangaroo pockets, bottom of the pocket to the bottom of the sweater, and do the ribbing at the bottom. And that's all the knitting I have. But I'm going to put an eye for Isabel in the gold on it, because it's a Harry Potter sweater, and I'm going to do that in duplicate stitch. So I need to get to the knitting and practice. Our hummingbird is back. Our hummingbirds deserted us after they didn't desert us. Our thing went dry, completely dry. But since we filled it up again, they've been like, it was raining yesterday, but we were able to watch them from the house because they came back so often. They must have been starving. So I feel a little bad about that. But anyway, I'm going to have to practice some duplicate stitch because I've never actually done it. I've seen videos of it done, and I'm sure I can do it, but I haven't ever done it. So I thought I would. I need to practice. But my goal is to have this ready to give her when they come, like on the 13th. They're coming on August 13th and staying that whole week. So that's my goal, is to have it ready when she comes to stay with us that week. I might finish it while she's here and she can see me do the duplicate stitching, stuff like that. I mean, so it's not a hard and fast date because it won't be her birthday gift, which reminds me I need to figure out a birthday gift for both of them because their birthdays are 2 weeks apart in August. So, yeah. Anyway, so I'm here today, unexpectedly vlogging, but it's actually nice out here. It feels perfectly fine out here. If it had a slight bit more breeze, it would be really lovely and we would all be out here. Maybe I'll get Aura out here. She came down early again today and maybe she wants to come outside. She hasn't been outside very much with this really muggy weather. Ooh, big news. She accepted an offer on the house. She got a cash offer that was very reasonable to her, and boom, we accepted it. Quick, a cash offer. A young couple being helped by their grandparents, and quick settlement cash. I'm like, can't beat that. Sounds perfect. So, yay! So Dennis has paperwork to work on with his mom. And yeah, very close to being, she's very close to having to acknowledge this is her home. I was going to say she's homeless, but she's not, obviously not homeless. She's changed residences. So that's good news. And once that's over, phew, then we'll just have to, you know, I'm picturing her stuff like coming out of the dining room a little bit like osmosis. We find a place for this thing. We find a place for that thing. Someone asked if we couldn't put it in the basement. Oh my gosh, a basement. The basement is another one of our big projects. Our basement gets wet, which is a drag. So there's two separate projects. They're working on keeping the basement dry, and that involves recontouring the ground around the house and fixing the gutters and things like that. And then we have a basement full of stuff, and there are boxes down there that we moved when we moved into this house in 2001 that are still down there. And you know, every time we have to put something big down there, like a new freezer or something like that, everything gets moved around. Dennis sort of had a plan, and he had it, sort of halfway cleared for half the basement, and that's all gone to hell. So anyway, that's our next project together, him and me. An hour, half an hour a day for quite a few days. Would make a big difference down there. And then we would have a pile of garbage and we could call like somebody to haul it away, But until we sort through it, there's nothing to be done. So our plan was to just die living in this house and having the kids deal with it. They'll have to call that clean out guy. He'll charge them more. Anyway. So I'm just picturing us saying, and it's possible that some of it will still go to Goodwill, because it's hard to make a first pass that is completely dejunking. So we shall see. But meanwhile, I'm spinning, and I am determined to go back to knitting that because she looked so cute in that sweater, and I wish I would have taken a picture. Sorry. But that's giving me a little bit of motivation. And having a little knitting mojo makes me smile because, you know, I'm making this yarn, you know, and I thought of plans for the first 2 yarns, not, you know, one of them was Dennis's fingerless gloves, which, you know, who knows when I'll start those. I could start them because they start like fingerless mitts. I can get up to the fingerless mitt point, and then picturing doing those 8 fingers is where I'm. Maybe it's time for me to try double pointed needles again. You know, instead of trying to do the magic loop. But I do everything magic loop. Everything. All right, ramble. So Christy and I are off to Joann's today. I probably won't buy anything, but if I do, I'll show you. One thing I never came across and I was looking for was my plastic. I bought plastic bands like they put on your wrist when you go to like a theme park or a concert or something. They put these plastic bands on you, sort of like what they do in the hospital. And you know, once you take them off, they're off. You can't put them back on again. And I use those to identify my yarn because they're plastic, and if you write on them with Sharpie, you can put a band around your yarn before you wash it, and so you never forget what it is. You can write everything you need to know, how much yardage, the kind of yarn it is, how you spun it if you're a fancy spinner, you know, all those things. And I have a box of those because I bought 2 boxes, one for me and one for Juanita. When I was putting a box together for her, I threw one in for her, and I can't find mine. And I've been through my room several times since then, so I'm not sure what I did with it, but I'm getting another one because the Staples is right next door to the Joann. So I'm going to be right there. So I can run into Staples and get another box of those so I have them, because now I'm spinning and I need to, you know, identify what I'm doing, and I want to be sure to do that. And with those plastic wristbands, you can do it immediately. It comes off of your spindle or your bobbin, you know, off your nitty knotty. You can put it on while it's on the nitty knotty when you're making it for the first time, and then you can wash it and do whatever you want with it, and you don't lose that information. So I will be doing that. So I'm going to be running into Staples while Christy's in Joann, and yeah, get more official with my spinning, because unless my arm hurts too much, I feel like I'm going to continue to spin. And yeah, my arm hurts too much to spin, I might break down and go to the doctor and try, you know, see if a cortisone shot would help me. I'm so mad at my doctor, though. They called me yesterday, 3 days ago at 8:30 in the morning. We are not up at 8:30 in the morning to solicit a solicitation call from the doctor. They must be slow or something. You haven't had your Medicare wellness checkup yet. Would you like to make that appointment now? I'm like, no, I would not. And I hung up. I was mad. 8:30 in the morning. Who calls anybody at 8:30 in the morning? Anyway. So now I'm mad at my doctor. I know it's ridiculous, but I don't want to go in. Oh, speaking of shots, I went to pick up Aura's medication. Our little independent pharmacy closed that Aura used. They used to deliver her meds. It was really, really nice. But the closest pharmacy to where they were located is the Rite Aid next to my grocery store. So it's convenient, except I have a long, lingering dislike of Rite Aid for how they treated a friend of mine who was a pharmacist 30 years ago. I hold a grudge. What can I tell you? So anyway, her prescriptions got all moved over to Rite Aid. But one thing Rite Aid does that her old pharmacy didn't do is when they have a refill on a prescription, they fill it and call you and say, your prescription's ready. And if you don't pick it up by X amount of time, then, you know, it'll go back in the pool, I guess. So anyway, so they call us and ahead of time when Aura's running out of her meds, and so we have a few days to pick them up, and Dennis doesn't have to stop and we don't have to call, which I kind of like. So anyway, I went into the Rite Aid yesterday to pick up Aura's med that they had called and said was ready, because I was going to the store next door. And, you know, I'm checking it out, and the woman says, are you up to date with all your inoculations? And I said, yes. And she said, have you had your shingles shot? And I said, no, actually. And shingles is on my list of things I wanted to get. And she said, we're not busy now. You want it now? So I said, yes. And then I'm walking out. So I have where's my Band-Aid? Oh, there it is. So I have a sore arm on the other side. I'm walking out, I'm like, oh, you dope. Carol, when she got her shingles shot, she said she was sick for 24 hours. It made her ill. And so Dennis and I had this plan that we were not going to both get a shingles shot at the same time, that, one of us would go with his mother and the other one wouldn't go, in case he got sick getting the shingles shot. I could take care of them, or if I got sick, he could take care of us. I totally forgot that. So I'm walking out with a shingles shot, and I'm supposed to be going to State College today, but that changed. And Christy's here, and we were having people over for dinner yesterday, and I'm like, what am I doing? What if I get sick? But my arm is sore, and that's the only thing. So I am not sick. So I got my shingles shot yesterday, speaking of. Anyway. All right, that's it. Ramble. Now I won't have... Oh, I was going to say now I won't have anything to talk about tomorrow, but I'm not doing my blog tomorrow. So this will hold you for 2 days. So Leslie can get a lot of spinning done with this one shot. Well, it's nice to have a nice day out here today. Maybe we'll be outside. I don't know. Meanwhile, please take good care of yourselves. Please, please, please stay safe and stay sane.